good afternoon folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another review. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot. We're back with another scene review, the first of two this week. We're back in Europe and we're in Bulgaria, and you're looking at Sofia International Airport in Bulgaria, Lima Bravo Sierra Foxtrot. This is a payware scenery by Aflosim, and you're looking at version 1 for the PC version of Flight Simulator 2020. Again, no indication as to whether it's available for Xbox. I think we'll have to look in the marketplace. The download is 622 megs and it installs at just under a gig, 992 megs. It's currently available from Simmarket. The price, €17.87, which equates to roughly $19.15 US, or £15.36 UK. As ever, US and UK prices are all estimates from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT, which may vary depending on your country of purchase. Now, no features listed, but I can tell you this is a pretty feature-rich airport. There's a freeware available on flightsim.to that's been undergoing development, and various other bits and pieces. Well, I've had a look over this, and this really does take the cake. They've done quite a bit of work on this. And this at the moment is probably the most realistic you'll get. I particularly like the terrain modification. Haven't seen any vehicles going down the runway, although they do indeed cross them. But there's quite a bit of detail here. This is quite a nice project off the bat. So that said, let's go straight into some history for you. So, history. Sofia International Airport, Lima Bravo Sierra Foxtrot, is a public use airport owned and operated by the Bulgarian state government. It's also the main international airport of Bulgaria, located 6 miles or 10 kilometers east of the center of the country's capital, Sofia. In 2019, the airport surpassed 7 million passengers for the first time. The airport serves as a home base for BH Air, Bulgarian Air, European Air Charter and Gulf Air, and as a base for both Ryanair and Wizz Air. The airport also houses a Bulgarian Air Force's, always have trouble trying to pronounce this, Resnibna Air Base. In September 1937, Tsar Boris III signed a decree which declared land within the village of Resnibna to be allocated for the construction of an airport. Construction then began on the site, which was 7 miles or 11 kilometers from the city centre at the time. 2 years later, in 1939, Sofia Airport opened its first passenger waiting room, and after another 2 years was followed by a fully constructed airfield with a fully paved runway. From June through to September 1938, Yugoslav airline Airport connected Sofia with Belgrade thrice weekly using the Lockheed Model 10 Electra aircraft. During the Second World War, the facilities were used by the military. Mail, perishable freight and passenger operations began in 1947 from buildings on the south side of the airport. The passenger terminal, now Terminal 1, on the south side was completed during the Second World War in the manner of a then modern European railway terminus, to designs by the architect Ivan Marangozov. It opened after several years of delay in 1947. The terminal subsequently reached its capacity of some 600,000 passengers a year by the late 1960s and was subjected to a number of refurbishments and extensions, beginning in the spring of 1968. By the late 1970s, the terminal was handling in the region of 3 million passengers a year, 1 million of them on domestic routes. Work began in 2001 on a new runway, and some taxiways were completed in mid-2006. Terminal 2 was formally inaugurated on the 27th of December 2006, and on the 3rd of June 2016 the Bulgarian government launched a tender for the operation of Sofia Airport. And in April 2021 the company SOF Connect AD officially became the concessionaire of the airport. Currently the airport is served by over 30 airlines, both passenger and cargo. And in September last year, 2022, the airport turned 85 years of age. So there you go folks, some history for you. Just panning around here, something I didn't notice before. There you've got a couple of static aircraft. From what I can see, entirely sure, yeah, the runway there on the left, you have to be pretty careful. Obviously you can't exit here, but there's the main runway, so you should be okay. So these are just static aircraft, but obviously this part of the airfield therefore is essentially unusable. But the main parking area, the runway, the main exits on the runway all look to be clear, so that looks to be fine. So on the subject of runways, let's go down and have a close look at runways. So runways. SOFIA Airport operates a single runway 2709, measuring 11,811 feet or 3,600 meters, and is constructed from asphalt. The airport lies at an elevation of 1,742 feet or 531 meters and sits within the GMT UTC plus 3 hours time zone. As with the UK and much of Europe, Bulgaria observes daylight saving time or DST, and so is currently 2 hours ahead of the UK. So to begin with, we're looking down the throat of runway 27, which features high intensity runway lighting, high intensity airfield lighting system, short field lighting, centerline lighting, touchdown zone lighting, and precision approach path indicators on the left side. So looking at the runway there, here you can see the short field approach lighting system. There's the touchdown zone lighting and the centerline lighting going all the way through. PAPI's on the left, so this is as per the charts. This runway features an instrument landing system with Z and Y options, and it's certified to Category 3 low visibility operations. You also have RNP and VLR approach options at this runway too. So as you can see, everything as per the charts here for runway 27. Let's whip down the other end. So here we are looking down the other end of the runway 09, which also features high intensity runway lighting, high intensity airfield lighting system, the centerline lighting we discussed earlier, and precision approach path indicators on both sides. So this is pretty much as per the charts. The only thing they've left in here, or they've added, is the short field lighting system, which isn't listed for this end of the runway. And obviously note that you've got a displaced threshold here. There's also VOR on the airfield, and here it is, right in front of the runway there. So runway 09 features standard instrument landing system, again with Z and Y options, but no low visibility certification. And again you also have RNP and VOR approach options available. So this is pretty much as per the charts, except for the addition of the short field lighting system, which isn't listed on the charts, but as I've said many times before, anything that's in the scenery that helps you land in the low light or low visibility, I'm perfectly happy with. So that does it for runways. Let's just do the jetway test now. So jetways, here we are on stand number 7 on the western side of the pier link. My Boeing 737-800 from PMDG. Let's test the jetway, see how it works. Okay, the wheels move and turn. No stairs to worry about this time. Animation looks quite nice. And that looks to be a pretty good connection. Look, it's gone through the skin a little bit. Let's have a close-up look. Well, actually that's not too bad. It's not actually reached the door, and in an effort presumably to prevent the rubber hood from going through the skin, they've designed it this way, and that's fine. I have no problem with that at all. It's reasonably good. Let's have a look from the other side, and that's not bad at all. And as you can see, the jetway itself is quite detailed. It looks pretty neat. Let's open the door and have a look what we can see from inside the jetway. Okay, so there's the view from inside the jetway, as far back as I can go before the door of the jetway closed obscures the entire view. That doesn't look too bad really, although obviously you can see there's quite a drop there. You don't need to be really careful going in and out of there. And there's the view looking out from inside the aircraft, and you can see the jetway inner doors are closed. So let's retract the jetway. As ever, pretty much every jetway I look at, the hood springs back and there's a delay before the jetway moves. And you've got this cage here with the air start system that drags along the ground, but apart from that, that looks fine. So there you go, there's the jetways for you here at SOFIA on stand number 7. So there you go, that was the jetway test for you. Let's start the main tour, and obviously for the pilots among you, we're going to start by doing a tour of the main ramp and its whole sort of layout here, and then we'll look at some details. As you can see, we're starting on the north side and we've got the terminal complex ahead of us, so let's pop across the runway here. As you can see, the markings on the runway are really good, complete with skid marks and all the other bits and pieces that you should have. The stands look good. I actually quite like the way the concrete is done. Got a few vehicles, nothing fancy. We've done quite a nice job. As we get close to the terminal there, you can now start to see some of the detail on the stands. I mean, the modelling is lovely and the detailing is excellent. It's just really nice. The building modelling is great. And here you can see evidence of terrain modification. And the buildings, I have to say, they do look nice. So now we come along the west side of the pier, and again you can see the quality of the modelling is really quite good. Your static objects are quite good too. The buses are fairly nice. There's my aircraft parked on stand 7. As you can see, some parallaxing on the windows there. I mean, the effect is quite good, and you've got 1 or 2 animated people down there too. Now we're coming up the control tower, very nicely modelled, complete with radar dome on the top, and I believe it's modelled inside too. So unfortunately no internal modelling. I thought it might be, but it's not. In fact, they haven't really kind of modelled the tower at all. I mean, it looks like an open space with bits hanging in the sky. That's a pity. That's a bit of a lack of attention to detail for me. And that's probably one little strike against this scenery. You know, okay, if you're not going to model a tower, I don't have a problem with that at all. But to actually not model it in any way so that you can see right through the building is a bit... It just shows a little bit of sloppiness for me. So here to the left you've got various aircraft there. Here's the Lufthansa Technik hangar. Well, you've got various bits of ground clutter, and some of the texturing on the ground is quite good. It's actually far better than some I've seen in a situation like this. Nicely modelled building, weathered on the outside too. And there's seen from the other side. So heading back airside again, I'm looking at the ramp and taxiways. I mean, the modelling's nice. The airport does come to life a little bit. There's quite a bit of low resolution stuff when you get away towards landside there. But here airside the modelling is great. I love the way the roads have been done. And here you've got additional parking and plenty of light stanchions too. I'm not sure if this is the VIP building that was mentioned or not, I don't know. Yeah, I think this is the VIP building. And I think also the red carpet gives it away. and the various flags there, one of the EU animated flags, nice to see that. There's the building from landside, as you can see various parking spots. I'm pretty sure this is the VIP building. So back to airside again. As you can see, some low resolution detail sort of mixed with higher resolution. It kind of works and it kind of doesn't, if you know what I mean. And this is the very end of the airfield that we looked at with the default models, or not the default models, but the models they've included parked in the taxiway. I'm assuming they exist at the real airport. There's the VOR station directly ahead of us, which is in line with runway 09. So here you've got bollards placed here to show that this end is actually shut off. There's the high-speed turn-off at the end of the runway to the left there. Let's head across the runway to this area here. You've got Park Military there, down there to the left. And again, some nice buildings, nicely modelled, not greatly textured or weathered, but they're okay. I mean, I'm assuming these buildings are coloured the way they are at the real airport, and in a way that sort of brings it to life a little bit more. Here we go again with some more aircraft models, which I'm assuming are based at the real airport, and various other structures. And there you can see the airfield sits really nicely in the default terrain. It's been, in terms of terrain and modelling, it looks really good. The only little anomaly I've got seen here is a misalignment of the taxiway. But again, no big deal, as long as there's no bump there, which could be a real problem after you've landed on 09, taxiing off and coming back to the terminal. If there's a terrain bump there, it could actually crack the sim. So that needs to be tested possibly. But anyway, here we are back on the main stand, as I've said. There's my aircraft parked on stand number 7. The jetway modelling looks really quite nice. You've seen the results of the jetway test, and the stands generally look great. There's the view from the flight deck during the daytime. This is what you'll see when you park up on stand 7. And here you can see this illusion of people walking through the terminal. We're going to have a quick look in there in a minute, but I just wanted to show you the view from the flight deck. Quick view from the captain's side, and looking out the first officer's window. So let's pop inside here and see what's been done. Okay, this is interesting. You've got moving people, but no internal development. I think what we've got here is a mixture of parallaxing and people moving inside to give you the impression that there's stuff going on. It's a bit different. I've not seen it before. Works from the outside, but obviously there's nothing really to be gained by looking inside. Same in the other direction. And if we pop out this side and have a look in through the window, just move back a little bit, and there you go. There's the effect that you get. As I said, they haven't modelled this internal pier, but you've got people, animated people, which give the effect. It'd be interesting to see what that looks like at night or during the darkness hours. So we'll move up to this part of the terminal. I'm assuming they've got the same thing, but we'll have a look. So looking from the outside, can't see any people at all moving from this side. Ah, there we go, there's one. But the exterior modelling is quite good actually, it's pretty impressive. And going inside we've got the same situation here. It's a real pity that they really haven't gone the, I mean, not the whole hog, but not only have they not modelled the interior, which I'm perfectly cool about. What's a little bit annoying for me is there's the lack of finishing. Here you've got open space, not even a building structure. Okay, you've just got this pole here, and practically nothing here. And they're walking on air. They're not even walking on the ground. This just, in a way, unfortunately, just shows a lack of detail or a lack of attention to detail and finishing. It's like the product is a bit unfinished. So again, looking inside the building at various parts, as you can see, there's practically no internal development at all. So I just decided to come outside to landside, and here you can see, I mean, it looks nice. The roads are a little bit low resolution, but the foliage and the way the terminal's constructed visually, it's very pleasing. And it looks great. It's just unfortunately the moment you go inside, you know, you haven't even got a block building. The sides are missing, both sides are missing. And here, what you saw outside isn't even visible inside. It's just a real lack of finishing for me. I mean, okay, much of this is reflected in the price. So we have a little look outside, various cars, and various other buildings here. There's the train here, which is not animated. Let's have a look here closely. Well, you know, not much you can say about that really. It's just a block. They haven't even modelled the train, even though they've taken the trouble to model the track. So you look in that direction, there you got the track and the elevated part of it going up to the station. Let's see what we can see inside the station, if anything. Right, we can't really, it's blocked. But as you can see from this landside shot, I mean, externally the modelling is very nice. There is a mixture of low resolution stuff and high resolution stuff. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. And externally the buildings look great. And yeah, you know, this looks wonderful. Really does. And there's lots of other bits and pieces around for you to explore. I start coming up, you can see the view across the airport. You've got everything you need really. And as you look landside there, you've also got other buildings and bits and pieces that have been added to the scenery to enhance it a bit more. Many of which I assume actually exist at the airport itself. So there's quite a bit to get your teeth into, and for the pilots among you coming along and parking up and want to see no more than that, that's fine. But generally the whole thing looks, it's unfinished. It's like they've done the minimum needed to make it look good from the outside, and for me that just about works. But it is reflected in the price. The price is a lot lower than you might expect for an airport like this. Okay, so that was the daytime. As you can see, it's okay, it's fine. The things I like about this airport are the ramp texturing here is really good, and the taxiways look great. The external modelling of the buildings is great. No complaints at all really, they all look good. Everything right down to the outside of the tower. Lots of things to explore here. The Lufthansa Technik building. But as we've seen, as you go through the buildings and through the airport, so it looks as though some of the modelling is, I mean, it's just a bit unfinished. The buildings are, okay, they're not internally modelled, and I have no problem with that, but they're not internally structured. You've got roofs that just seem to be holding themselves up. The tower is a bit of a mess, but in general it's all fine. So let's turn the lighting down to dusk and have a look at the lights. Okay, 7:45 in the evening local time. Remember, it's September 2023, so this is what we're looking at the airport at dusk, and that's quite nice. The ramp areas are nicely lit and you've got this yellow tungsten glow. You do see this at many airports, and a lot of airports have good powerful LED lighting, but some of them still use the old tungsten style lighting and you get this yellowing effect. And by and large this doesn't look too bad at all. Here's the train station lit from the outside. There's landside all lit up as well. And there, looking towards the threshold of runway 27. Can't see any evidence of green centerline lighting, but you've got various lights and bits and pieces here. And there, looking to the north, you've got lighting as well on this part of the airfield. So here we are at ramp side, and to be honest, as I suspected, this whole thing here is designed for the darkness hours. Now you've got the terminal sort of lit and you can see the people walking inside. Nice to see the ends of the jetway lit as well in the manner that they are. That looks pretty good. And as you can see, plenty of stand lighting, no asobo globes sitting around. Let's get a closer look at that terminal effect. Right, I mean, it's okay. It's a bit spoiled because these textures obviously designed for you to see what's going on during the day, and at night, because you've got internal lighting, it affects the way the windows look. It's a bit, what can I say, a bit amateurish if I might use the word, but no, it's okay, it works. If we look through the flight deck window, so there's the view through the flight deck window as we saw during the day. And it's okay, it's fine. It gives you what you expect to see. You see passengers there. It's a typical sort of view that you might see out of the front window when you park up. You've even got animated engineers walking about, which adds to it a little bit too. Nice to see some of the vehicles have lights on them as well. So do a little airside tour again. As you can see, the stands there. We've got green centerline lights to the right there, which presumably exist only on the ramp area. And let's see what happens to the tower. Okay, the lower part is lit, but as you can see, the rest of it's got nothing on it at all, unfortunately. Lufthansa Technik building, again, designed to be nicely lit during the night time. And that pretty much works. I like the drop lighting, looks really quite good actually. Little bit bright maybe, but no, it's okay, it's fine. And again, you can see some work on the buildings there, landside for you to explore later on. Looks very good indeed. As you can see, the airport, like many airports, comes to life a bit more at night time or during the darkness hours. There's the VIP building in the distance, also with some lighting, so any of you flying private jets in here, you're well catered for. So stand lighting on the outer stands, as you can see. We've got blue airfield edge lights. Taxiway markings are good. As you can see, we've got some green lighting here that leads out, or leads in I should say. You come off the runway. That I believe is the de-icing area. So here we've got the runway, taxiway first and then the runway ahead of us with the correct markings, and some nice ground lighting too. Taxiway lighting looks quite good, and I think we've got wigwags here. Yes indeed we have, and we've got the European style wigwags, a little bit different to the ones we see here in the UK. But again, you've got the green centerline lighting leading you off the runway. So there's a good look at the runway to the left. There you can see the displaced threshold area, and the adjacent taxi area does indeed have green centerline lighting all the way to lead you across. So there's a shot of the terminal from landside, and here you can see more terraforming here where they've introduce the bits and pieces that you see at the real airport. I mean, it looks fine. Again, it looks a little bit amateurish. It's not up to the standard that you find in some airports, but it's good, and for me, certainly the best version. You've got some Asobo globes floating around here, possibly unnecessarily, and the light from inside of the terminal was coming out quite powerfully across here. And they're looking out towards landside, towards the Technics building, and further in the distance out towards the city. Lots to explore and have a look at if you wanted to get the helicopter out, and visually quite pleasing. And there's the train station. Again, you've got this effect where during the darkness hours you can sort of see what's going on inside, as it were. Not bad at all. Okay, so that's dusk. Let's turn that right down to night time now and see how much the lighting comes up. Okay, 10 PM local time. As you can see, darkness is thrust upon us. And that's quite a nice looking scene. The lighting of the terminal area, taxiways going into the parking spaces are good. I actually quite like this yellow tungsten effect that you see at many of the older sort of airports lighting systems. It looks really quite nice. Green centerline lighting is good. The blue airfield edge lights are slightly different to the ones you see in other sceneries, but again, that's a nice thing. The tops of the various towers, including the main control tower and the other bits here, they have the appropriate required red lighting on them, and basically anything over 300 feet generally has to have lighting on it. And they're looking in the other direction. There you can see the Lufthansa Technik building and the additional parking there that's also lit. Here's the engine run-up test area where they take aircraft in to do engine runs. This is the blast screen that surrounds the back. And there, if I come up a little higher, there you can see that area as well, and also beyond into the city and suburbs, you've got various buildings that have been lit and that have been added just to enhance the scenery a little bit more. And there we are looking at the north side of the field there, with the various maintenance bits and pieces and the military part. Again, nicely lit. You've got a mixture of tungsten lighting and LED lighting there as well. And you've got these European style wigwags at the various crossing points near the runways, which is a nice touch. There's the threshold of runway 27 in the distance, and you've got additional parking and I think also de-icing options further out there too. Okay, so there you go, that's what it looks like at night. Let's bring the dawn up. Okay, 7:15 in the morning and the lights have gone out about 5 minutes ago, and here is the effect as the sun comes up and casts the red glow on the various buildings. There's the main ramp in front of us, and the effect is really quite nice. Got the mountains in the background there that gives this whole sort of location quite a bit of ambience and interest. And they're looking out towards the rest of the ramp and the city in the distance. It's a beautiful view, really. And there's a nice shot looking down the throat of runway 09 with the military and maintenance area north side there to the left, and the sun rising slowly in the sky. Okay, 10 AM local time. As you can see, the sun is well up and the airport's bathed in the early morning sun. Time to give you my thoughts and conclusions. Do I like it? Yes, I do. It's a nice airport. Everything you need as a pilot is there in terms of ground markings, taxiways, signage. You can relate it to the charts. It's pretty accurate as per the charts, especially the navigation aids. Externally, the buildings look wonderful. The modelling is nice. There's a bit of weathering here and there, and I do believe they've done a nice job of trying to recreate Sofia Airport as it is in the real world. That's nice. The downside, it's a bit unfinished. When you look at the buildings, whilst I don't expect them to be internally modelled in the way that some sceneries are, I completely understand that, I have no problem with it. The problem I do have is the lack of attention to finishing. You know, it's not really, okay, I can go inside a building and expect that, yep, there's been no internal modelling and that's fine. But the problem is that they haven't even got the walls. You know, you've got a roof there standing with no supports. You've got a passenger walking across a blank piece of ground that could literally fall out of the building if you wanted to. Control tower shows this especially. If you go inside, there's not even a structure. There are bits and pieces in there you could literally fall through the building. To me, that's a lack of attention to finishing, and I'd like to see that cleaned up a bit. If they don't wish to model the inside, that's fine. You also get this transition from day to dusk, darkness hours on the outside of the terminal. The markings on the outside, the sort of parallaxing effects, look fine during the day, but then as you pass into the hours of darkness, they actually inhibit what the effect that they're trying to create. So that probably needs a bit of attention. I'm not sure if this is going to be a work in progress. Do I think it's worth €17? Well, €18 really, including tax and VAT, probably just about. I would say really it's worth about maybe €15.50, including VAT. It's probably just a touch on the expensive side. But then you have to look at the fact that the price, €17.87, does include tax. They've added buildings outside of the airport as well for you to explore. And as a pilot, if all you're looking for is a good airport with plenty of detail in terms of ramps, taxiing for the pilot's point of view, then you have all of that. I just think really it's a little unfinished, and possibly there are little things to add. That's just my opinion. By the way, I was sent this airport by Aflosim, very kind of them to do so. My thanks to them for doing that, so that I could review this. Guys, it's a lovely airport. The project is good and you've done a nice job. I think certainly from Simmarket point of view, it's a little on the expensive side. I think the price would be justified if you did the finishing I'm looking at. You don't have to model the internal parts of the building. I would think that I would like to see the external parts of the terminal here revisited in terms of visual, especially during the transition from day to night or day to darkness hours. I think that needs to look a little bit better, and the buildings that you have, especially the control tower, these need to be finished. You know, at least have some glass or some walls so that you can see outside. But other than that, you've got plenty of detail. The vehicles are nice, animations are good, flags, and the modelling generally is of a good standard. So maybe it's just about worth the price. Probably a little too high, but I'm not going to quibble too much. We're only talking cents here, really. But it's a nice airport, nice project, and at the moment this is the best version, but we'll see whether things get better. So there you go, folks. Sofia International Airport in Bulgaria, Lima Bravo Sierra Foxtrot. This is a payware scenery by Aflosim, and you're looking at the initial release version for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. Download at 622 meg, installs at 992 meg, just sort of a gig. Currently available from Simmarket, and the price €17.87, which equates to roughly $19.15 US, or £15.36 UK. As ever, the US and UK prices are all estimates taken from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT, which may vary depending on your country of purchase. A nice airport, maybe just slightly too expensive, maybe €1 or so more expensive than I would expect for what's been done here, but this is currently the best version out in my opinion. It's beautifully modelled in terms of the terrain, sits very well with the default terrain here, and yeah, it's nice. Happily recommend it. Hopefully Aflosim may have a look at the comments I made, and they may or may not choose to issue an update. Be nice to see that. So there you go, folks. Thanks for joining me. This is the first of this week's reviews. Look out for the second review this week, where we'll be going out to Asia again, and we'll be looking at Langkawi International Airport on the island of Langkawi, up on the northern part of Malaysia, right on the Malaysia-Thai border. It's a popular vacation spot. I've been there many years ago. And Shade Scene have done a really nice version of it. They've actually just issued an update, so we'll be looking at that in the second of this week's scenery reviews. So thanks for joining me, guys. Thank you very much as well. You're pushing me very slowly towards 1,000 subscribers, and that's what I'm after. If you like what I see here, please like and subscribe, and tell your friends. I plan to keep doing these as long as I can. By all means, submit your requests. If you see things that you'd like reviewed, I will try and get to them. On Sunday we did Hurghada by the FSDG group, which I actually had some feedback from FSDG themselves, and anyway, we'll see what transpires from that, and look forward to seeing you in the next review later this week. So take care, folks. Thank you very much, and bye for now.